Tonight, we reach a crucial point potentially in this new Trump term. Will he abide by a judge's ruling to return a Maryland man wrongly deported to a Salvadoran prison? Or are we gonna blow through that deadline? Is he gonna refuse to comply with it and move us into blatantly unconstitutional grounds? Now, this is a quickly developing situation where Donald Trump and the DOJ are doing everything they can, including appeals to the Supreme Court to try to stop this deadline of 11:59 p.m. Tonight. And we're gonna have to see. It might literally have a development as we're live on the show. But as of right now, a judge had ordered him to bring this man back, saying that the decision to send him to El Salvador was wholly lawless. And specifically pointed out the vague, uncorroborated allegation of involvement, or if you listen to Carolyn Leavitt, the leadership of MS-13 for this individual. And she went on to say that it was eye-popping that the government had argued that it could not be forced to bring Abrego Garcia back because he was no longer in US custody. He's just in a facility that they have a contract with and that Kristi Noem sometimes visits to do photo shoots. So the idea that like you couldn't like grab him by the arm and bring him back is kind of ridiculous. But importantly, as of right now, they haven't complied. They've asked first the 4th US Circuit Court of Appeals to pause that ruling to change the deadline. I believe Trump has appealed directly to the Supreme Court right now. There's not a lot of time for them to weigh in, but they have previously sometimes done so on short notice. Now, JR, the Supreme Court has not every time it's made a ruling had it go in Trump's favor. But if like you had to ask me an issue area, is this one where they defy him? I don't know in the area of migration if this is the area that they would actually like chart their own course. But what do you think?
Yeah, this one is, I guess as far as Supreme Court, is a little harder to read. But I mean, maybe it falls within his, well, I guess their agreed announcement that he can do whatever the hell he wants. He can break all laws. He's completely Teflon to anything possible. So, I don't trust anything the Supreme Court may do that's actually in favor of normalcy in Americans, then until they do it. So honestly, whatever the situation is, I'm expecting them the same way he is, by the way. So think about that. He's expecting them to do anything that he wants them to do. So it's probably along those lines, because this is what I think I see. Well, I think it's pretty obvious, but what I see happening here is similar to that Signalgate revelation. When Waltz and them were discovered to have been sending all those war plans over Signal. And then as soon as it happened, and they didn't want to like admit it, they didn't want to point it out. It's like, oh my God, no, this is not really happening. You guys can move along. We took care of the situation. I said, well, this means that this is absolutely an epidemic. They do it way more. They do it all over the place.
And we found out that, yeah, they did.
And which again turned into that. So does anyone, even MAGA folks, really think that this is the only wrongfully accused person that they've rushed out to El Salvador? Does anyone think that? So their main purpose for not wanting to at least follow through on this is so that there won't be any momentum going back to people beginning to ask, so who else did you send off to El Salvador that is absolutely and obviously innocent from whatever crimes that you said they've got, which is a tattoo? Tons probably. And this whole operation is not meant to have any basis in legality. If it's as easy as they said was, they'd go through a court system and these people would be, I guess, sent off whichever place they want to, because it's a very open and shut case. But they don't have that because they know it's not true, and they don't want to expose it for anything else they've been doing either.
Yeah, no, he's not the only one. And also, like again, we have to focus on the story, I guess. But for me, like focusing like just on him being sent there when he shouldn't have been because it was a mistake. Like, do you get where we're at when we're having that conversation? We're at a place where I guess it's okay to ship people to El Salvador as long as there's not a mistake. I don't think that's an acceptable place for us to be. Why are we shipping people to this horrid prison in the first place? Even if all the paperwork's in line or whatever, that's terrible. That's how they move the Overton window. And again, we have to deal with Garcia because it's insane. But and also in dealing with this and the chaos of the tariffs and everything, Trump got what he wanted, which is that not a lot of people are talking about Signalgate. Even us, it's not like a story in the rundown or anything. Even though we have no proof that they're not still doing that, they've been able to move on. In any event, so far the only action the government has seemed to actually taken in this area is that an attorney who was apparently frustrated with the government over the fact that they sent Garcia to El Salvador has been placed on leave. So I guess there can be accountability. Not if you're the person who makes the mistake, not if you're the person who uses Signal or whatever, across these different issues. But if you're frustrated by the cruelty, by the incompetence, then you can lose your job. Okay.